Hello and welcome back. Today we have issue 8 of the Dalek build from Hachette Partworks. So as always we have our magazine. It comes in the standard cover we've now come to expect. Orange logo this week. Opening up we get a picture of the Dalek on Skaro. Contents and legal. The Time Vortex this issue covers the origin of the Dalek, so it's looking at I think primarily must be the history of the Daleks as a whole. We've got some touch on the comics. Adventures in Time and Space, Genesis of the Daleks Part 2. Some background. Anatomy of the Dalek looks at the Dalek mobility. And then we have our instructions. This week's issue is going to allow us to attach the light to the dome and give us the plate for the opposite side. So without further ado, let's get down to assembly. And here we have this week's box. Small box this week. As always, the issue number is on the barcode at the back, so if you've opened them all or you're keeping it all towards the end, there's no way of getting these confused or mixed up. Okay, so we should have 2 packs of screws, which we do. We got AM screws, and we should get 4 of those. 4 of those. And we should get 3 of the B screws for the dome. So we got those screws, our morning screws. Instead of being in tin paper, it comes in a recycled paper packaging, and our dome part. So first up, we're going to be fixing our dome light to the Dalek. It looks like we're going to want some tape to hold things in place. I have some masking tape here. So let's take our dome and look at fitting this in. Check the energy dispenser assembly from the previous issue fits against the dome, so we're going to feed our wires through. Then there's a small peg and a large peg, and it's just about lining these two up, which I think will go. And we get this lined up off camera. So it took a bit of finagling to get it fitted. Basically the screw ports will face up and down, with the peg ports being either side. The larger port is this side and the smaller one this side. Then we want to take our screws and just screw these into place and put both in. So it's just a case of taking our these used the Allen key, didn't they? Which I have stored safely. If you recall, the last time we fit the light, it came with an Allen key. And it's a small little Allen key which fits these screws into place rather than our screwdriver. So make sure you're storing all of your spare parts, such as the tools, etc., etc., in safe places. I'm going to screw this in off camera because it seems to be a tight, slight awkward fit, and I'll be back shortly. There we go, finally have it screwed in nice and tight. Appeared to be an issue with the Allen key itself rather than the screws or the dome getting it fit, but I managed to get there in the end. It's now going to ask us to tape up our light. As you can see, I've already taped up the other side and just the wiring for the eye stalk as well. But one thing I'm going to do before we tape this up is I'm going to give the lights another test. In trying to fit it, I can see the wires pulling slightly, so I'd rather check that something hasn't been damaged. So again, all we do is take this and fit it in. Go fit in and switch it on. And again, there we have our lights flashing, so we know it's still working. There's no damage to the wires. Now, unplug this. Again, you might want some tweezers or something for unplugging this, just because of how delicate the wires can be. Gently, gently. Gently pull it out of its there we go. That's our dome lights tested, still working fine. Store the tester away for another day. Side. I get some masking tape. I'm just going to tape this up. There's more tape than I need. There we go. That's taped up and out of the way until we need to look at getting the lights fitted. Now we can turn this back over and we will be fitting the other side of our dome. We've seen these before, so they just slot into their respective ports. Then all we need to do is get our screws and screw them into place. one. Two. And again, one thing you want to make sure that is the gap between the top of the dome and the rim leaves is that the gap between the two remains in place and is even throughout. Don't know where that fell at all. Oh, there we go. Here we have our third and final screw. Get these fitted in. There we go. That's our dome piece fitted. So this week we finally got, or this issue we finally got the other side, other dome light finally fully fitted into the dome. We got the fourth plate, fifth plate put in place. It looks like there's probably another 2 or 3 plates to go, with one here, 1 or 2 possibly here, and then the top of the dome. So this is coming along nicely, and we are very close to finishing the outer shell of the dome. And once that's done, that, you know, even just sitting on its own will start to look like a really nice piece. So I'm looking forward to getting that done. Then finally, all we have left to do is take a look at next issue and put this away. So coming up in issue 9, we get the back panel. So it looks like it will be the entire back panel and the relevant screws for the panel. Looks like we'll be taking a look at the Dalek comics, which would be pretty cool to see, especially for those who aren't necessarily familiar with the comics from the 1960s. And then last thing to do is put this into the binder. And there we have it. Issue 8 is done and put away. So thank you for watching, and I'll be back soon.